So I've got a question from the SEO community that's asked us both, what is your most embarrassing story that you're able to share on the podcast?
About marketing or just...
They just said, what is your most embarrassing story that you have?
Oh, man.
It's a good one, that, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've been in a lot of embarrassing situations. Trying to think one that I'm not going to get held for or get anyone into trouble for. Most embarrassing story.
Do you want me to do mine?
Yeah, you do yours first.
So I did this actually. I said it in, if anyone's ever watched, I'm sure you haven't, but if you ever did watch my wedding speech, I say it in there. So used to go out every Friday and Saturday night on the lash, have a good night out. And then on a Sunday, it was like just chill time with who I'm now married to, my wife. But at the time, she was just my missus. And I'm chilled there. And I'm like, we used to just chill, maybe watch a film, and then we'd go to the gym. And when I say go to the gym, we just go steam room and for a swim in jacuzzi as well and that stuff. So we're driving to the gym and she says, like, whatever you do, don't fucking get my hair wet. I don't want to get my hair wet. So I'm putting my hair up. I'm not washing my hair tonight. I don't want to get I won't get your hair wet. I'm telling you I won't. So anyway, gets in there, goes into the steam room, 10 minutes in steam room, something like that. Gets out, swimming pool's there. I seen Kerry, my wife, just turn around swimming in the swimming pool. She starts swimming away from me, seeing her fucking hair up, like bob, back of the head. So I thought, I'm going to get her here. So I goes in, jumps in the swimming pool, starts swimming underwater to go underneath her, starts looking up, and I seen her legs, like she's like swimming, her arms are going out, her legs going out. And I cupped the pony, went underneath, cupped the pony, and I thought, I'll pull her back towards me. So I cupped underneath, went to pull her back, and then I'm underwater. So I'm like, as I pulled her back, as Kerry turned around, it wasn't Kerry. I was like, you motherfucker. And my face just dropped, but I'd proper grabbed underneath, and I was like, the fuck do I do here? So I literally just looked at her and just swam past her. I didn't know what to say, and I was like, and about 2 minutes later, Kerry comes into the pool with her hair up, with all the thing. I'm like, you're not going to believe what's just happened. So I start telling Kerry the story. Now, luckily, the girl who's swimming back looked across, seeing I was with my missus, and she went looked over, smiled a little bit, and we're like, oh, I get what's happened here. But oh my God, that moment, I can remember, it just felt like it was 20 seconds. It probably only about 2 seconds. It felt like 20 seconds where, as she came up, I was like, what have I just done? So, yeah, that's my most embarrassing story anyway.
I mean, that's got to beat anything I can say. This is not hugely embarrassing. I don't want to say some of the embarrassing ones because I've been in some fucking dodgy situations, but I had a guy that I bumped into at a conference a couple of years ago, and he came up to me, he's like, how are you doing, Craig? And I'm like, I'm good. And I never had a fucking clue who he was. So he could obviously see that in my reaction. I'm like, I'm good, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, nope. and he's like, I'll give you a clue. He says, you were on my podcast. And I'm looking at him going, nah, I'm sorry, man. Don't know. He said, I'll give you another clue. I've been on your podcast. And I'm like, I've still no fucking clue who you are, man. I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm out, man. I don't even know who I spoke to fucking yesterday, let alone whatever. And I felt like a fucking loser.
Do you know who he was? Did he explain who he was?
When he said who he was,
and
I'm
then
like,
he was like,
right, I remember. And the guy, you might even know him, a guy called Richard Hill. He's a big, tall guy. I always thought when I'd done the podcast with Richard that he was a small guy and his hair was a bit longer and all that shit. But I'm like, fuck. But I still had no clue of that. He'd been in mine and I'd been in his. And I'm pretty bad for that. You know, it's not the most embarrassing, but I felt like a piece of shit going, you're a fucking scatterbrain. And it also happened to me in Chiang Mai just there. You know this guy, Gurinder. Gurinder, right? So Gurinder comes up to me, similar story, and he says, how you doing, Craig? And I'm like, good. And similar vague fucking thing. You know, I've been to India and all that speaking. I see a lot of guys that look like that. And he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, no. And he's like, I'm Gurinder. And I'm like, yeah, good to meet you, Gurinder. I'm like, were you at that Indian SEO conference a few months back? He's like, nah, didn't make that one. And he says, you don't remember me again? You don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, no. And he went, you were on my podcast last week. I'm looking at him going, was it? It's like, fucking Gurinder.
The best story about this is that for Craig, who's explaining Gurinder, it's called Gundeep. But you made up his name as being Gurinder.
No, I'll tell you why. Can I tell you why?
Yeah, go on.
There was a fucking web designer that Kazra had called Gurinder and Gurdeep. So we were getting the two of them mixed up. So Gurdeep was the web designer and Gurinder was the podcast guy or vice versa.
Gurinder's actual name?
I don't fucking know.
No, I think yours was Gundeep.
Gundeep,
and you keep calling him Gurinder. And then he kept coming over to me saying, why does Craig keep calling me Gurinder when my name's Gundeep? I'm like, I don't know, that's bang out of order. And then I'd go to you saying, but then I'm going to you saying, yeah, it's called Gurinder, yeah, it's called Gurinder, yeah. And he kept trying to correct you that it's Gundeep, and you kept going, yeah, Gurinder, that's what I'm saying.
So these are pretty embarrassing moments here. Like, I was on it last week and I don't know if it's fucking age or what's happening, man, but I'm just like, I fucking don't know who anybody is anymore. So, yeah, that's pretty embarrassing from that perspective.
In defence to you there, like there's so many people that come at these events, there's so many people that come over to you speaking to you. It's hard to
But I'm going to flip this. I'm going to flip this because me and Kazra had this very conversation the other day. And he said, you had a similar experience recently where the person's like, what was it he said again? Some guy came up to you and he's like...
about Scott. He's about, like, so, yeah, this is pretty embarrassing. So I was on my stag do. I'm at the airport going to Vegas.
No, not that one. So I've heard that one.
Which
there was another one where a guy came up to you. It's like, how you doing, Dooley? We're at this fucking party and all that.
No, I had two bad ones. So one of them was, went to David Lloyd. So goes in there, this guy showed me all around David Lloyd, and I had no clue who he was. He knew everything about me. He knew more about me than I knew about me. So I'm asking questions about me that I didn't even know about me. So I'm like, how the fuck does this guy know everything about me? And anyway, he said, yeah, don't worry, mate, I'll give you 50% off friends and family. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're good pals or something. I'm like, 50% off friends and family. So I'm buzzing with that one. The worst one, I went to the gym, and some girl came over to me and says, hi, James, how you doing? You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You don't know who I am, do you? I'm like, no. She went, I'm your cousin.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm like, but she was like, I've not seen her since she was 15 and she was 18 and she'd grown up so much more. But I've not seen her for a few years. But like, I felt this big crate. The Kaz were like, she's not your cousin. I'm like, no, she is my cousin. And I'm like, when it gets like that, yeah, it's bad. The Scott one was pretty embarrassing though for him. More than like, but like, so I'm on my stag do. I'm at the airport, and it says, Scott, have you ever been to Vegas? And he went, yeah, last year, with you. We went for 2 weeks, and I stayed in a room with you. And I was like, oh yeah. So he says, Scott then that first night felt like he had to go overkill on being, I'm not a boring bastard, to try and make certain, because everybody else must have thought, fucking hell, you went for 2 weeks with Scott, stayed in the same room as him, and you forgot that he'd been to Vegas. So that's another pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that stuff embarrassed me, man. I'm like, but yeah, we were talking about that the other day with Kazra, and I'm like, he's as bad as me, but I do that shit all the time. There's no idea who I've went with where. Yeah. I don't even know what lies I've told to people. We've done the old day.
Mate, tell a story about Kazra's boss.
Yeah,
boss.
6 months prior to Dooley becoming Kazra's boss, we were in Chiang Mai 2018, and Kazra's boss and another guy, Tom Livingston, came to stay in my villa for a few days, and we were just talking shite. We're in the pool, we're all drinking and all that stuff, and Big Dan Stanton was there, big muscly guy, lovely guy by the way, but he looks like a fucking drug lord's fucking henchman. He just looks like that, right? And they're like, so, I can't remember, who's this guy with Dooley or whatever. Dan's name came up, and I'm like, yeah, that's Dooley's henchman. And I'm like, what? And they're like, what does Dooley do? I went, he's a fucking drug lord. And they're like, oh, really? What's all this SEO shit? I mean, that's just a front for the drug lord and all that. See, he's got his henchmen. In case there's any trouble out here, Big Dan will fucking sort them out. Anyway, I'm just talking shit. I've had a few beers, talking shit. Now, someone else then creates another conversation about something else, and I've completely forgot I've told that fucking lie. And then, 6 months later, Casual comes up to Liverpool for that meetup. You hire him, and Casual goes back down the road to his boss going, I'm going to work for Dooley now. He's like, oh no, dude, you can't go work for him. Why not? He's a fucking drug lord, Craig told me. And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot to tell them I was fucking lying. And I do that regularly. Tell people a lie, then forget that I was only fucking gaslighting them.
I'm just worried about what other stories you told everyone
dude,
about
I've
me.
told so many stories. I've told you, have we got time? 2 minutes. If I ever told you the story, well, you have heard it. I don't know if it's cool to say in a podcast, so we can cut it out if you don't want it. Going to Chiang Mai, people like, what happened and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you'll never believe what fucking Dooley done. Says we came out of this nightclub. That night we were all falling about on the dance floor and all that stuff. Everyone was fucked. Says I came out and we'll get into a tuk-tuk. This is all kind of fucking true, but I kind of made up a bit of it as well. So I'm getting pulled into the tuk-tuk and people are all hanging off the back of it and all that. And I added this bit in. So I looked over and I seen Dooley lying in the back of a tuk-tuk getting sucked off this ladyboy. So the ladyboy sucked him off. I says, so everyone's jumping into this tuk-tuk and I'm falling asleep and all that. I said, well, we're driving away. I looked over and I seen, my eyes were hazy and all that. I says, and I fucking seen the switch. I said, Dooley was sucking off the ladyboy. Dude, the amount of people that went, you're fucking kidding. And then I go on to tell the story.
I've had people come up to me about, have you had some experiences with a ladyboy? I'm like, no, mate, why? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely sure. And now I know where it's come from.
But I'm like, and they're like, what? And I'm like, that must make him bisexual, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, but he's got a missus and kids and all that. And they're like, he's a fucking dirty dog. I went, yeah. And I told them, I've even added another bit onto it when I'm telling that story. I say to people now, I've asked them a question mark. I'm like, are you bisexual? You're like, nah, it doesn't count when it's a ladyboy. And I'm like, so I've told those stories, and this is our first time exclusive that it might have not been true. But he throws me under the bus as well, so fuck it.
So anyone who's watching this with regards to the Entrepreneurship Uncensored podcast, these are obviously one or two of the fun episodes. If there's anything else that you want to ask myself or Craig, leave a comment in the comment section or drop us a DM and we'll go through any episode, any questions that you want us to answer, we'll certainly answer. Cheers, Craig. Thank you very much.
No worries.